Hello and congratulations on getting access to this video course on Facebook Ad Basics. This is, of course, video number 1, which is the introduction. So here's the goal. This course intends to simplify things so that you can get your Facebook ads up and running easily. Now, before we jump in and talk about how to set things up, you want to make sure that you are in the right mindset. I'm going to dive more into this in video number 2, but for now, let's briefly touch base. You see, in order to succeed at Facebook ads, you must be willing to have patience. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is paid traffic requires a certain type of patience and understanding that your first campaigns and your first several $100s is most likely not going to convert into leads. That may be the case if you're doing something easy like local ads. But if you're doing something like nationwide or even worldwide ads and you're targeting everybody in a specific niche, let's say, for example, scuba diving, then that can be very, very hard to do. It's not necessarily really hard, but imagine you're competing with a lot more people. If you're only competing with local businesses, it's going to be a lot easier. All right. So bear that in mind. And if you're okay with that, then Facebook ads is a really, really good platform to be able to target people in a very specific manner. So you can target them all the way down to their relationship status, to their gender, to their likes, and all that. All right. That's why Facebook is so powerful compared to a lot of other paid traffic sources. That's not necessarily to say Facebook ads is better, but you get what I'm saying. Now, you also need to do a few things before you set up your ads as well. For example, demographic research, getting an idea of who your audience is. Now, what this means is that you're not going to be profitable right out of the gate. So don't expect that. Don't expect that. Have a budget in mind, whether it's $500, whether it's $1,000, and don't expect that you're going to be profitable immediately. You see, with Facebook, what you're trying to do is you're investing that money to figure out who is actually interested in your product. You're going to figure out the text that you use, which text is the winning text, which image is working well, and when you're able to get the right data on that, you will be able to use the right creative ad to target the right person. And we'll discuss more about this proper mindset in video number 2. But for now, let's cover what's inside this course. So here's a quick overview of what's inside this course. Video number 1, of course, is this video. Video number 2 is the mindset of Facebook paid traffic. Video number 3, we'll talk about who are you targeting, because that's very important. You can't just set up an ad and assume, okay, this is going to work for everybody kind of thing. Video number 4, we're going to talk about Facebook Audience Insights, which is a free tool that Facebook gives you access to, and it allows you to dig a lot deeper. Video number 5, we'll take all that information that we've researched in the prior videos, and we'll create a avatar profile, which is essentially what your customer is going to look like. Are they male? Are they female? Are they a certain age? Are they in a certain area? And of course, once you figure that out, that's a big crucial piece of the puzzle. We need to go over important ad rules in video number 6. You see, if you don't follow Facebook's rules, it's an easy and surefire way to get banned, and we don't want that. So we want to make sure that you understand what Facebook wants, what Facebook does not want, what Facebook sees as offensive, and all that. And believe it or not, it may not really be obvious. So that's why we need to cover these rules. Video number 7, we'll talk about the pixel, which is basically the tracking code that Facebook uses, why it's important, how you can create it, and all of that. And video number 8, we'll talk about ad campaigns. And video number 9, we'll talk about ad sets. And of course, video number 10 will talk about ads. So as you can see, video number 7, 8, and 9 is the technical aspect, but all the videos before that prepare you for that. All right, so getting started, you're going to need the following. You're going to need, obviously, a Facebook ad account. You will need a landing page, something that you're going to be promoting. And of course, you're going to need to have your creatives, like your text, your headlines, your images, and all that. So with that said, let's move on to video number 2. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2, and this is all about the paid traffic mindset. So this is very important because if you don't make this switch in your mind, then running Facebook ads is going to be painful, it's going to be tough, and it's really not going to make a lot of sense. In fact, this is the reason why most people just quit Facebook ads. And it wasn't until we started running tens of thousands of dollars of Facebook ads that we realized that this was very crucial. Obviously, the technical aspects are crucial as well, but this is a big piece of the puzzle. And if you can't get past this and you can't have this type of mindset, you're most likely gonna say, okay, this doesn't work, and leave. And your competitor is gonna come in and win. So to better understand what kind of mindset you need to be in, what I want to do right now is to give you a comparison so that you can understand the differences between different types of paid traffic. So we have Google Ads, which we're referring to where you go to google.com and you type in a search keyword term, and then you see the ad at the very top. So as you know, Google has many different types of ads. They have YouTube ads, they have Google display, banner ads. We're not talking about any of that. We're just talking about the search ads. So if you think about it, the type of person that is going to google.com, they're searching for a very specific thing. So if they're typing in scuba diving equipment, they are looking specifically for that. And with that in mind, you're able to put certain products that they want right in front of them. Now, the big difference between that and Facebook ads is that with Facebook, people are not searching for anything. They are there to socialize with their friends, their family, or their acquaintances, right? So the difference is that. Now, because of that, and because somebody is not really searching for a very specific item, you need to be aware that you really have some warming up to do, meaning they're not going to buy right away. Sometimes they'll buy right away, and sometimes it will take a few days to maybe even a week, depending on the product you're selling and where they are in the stage of buying. They could be not even aware that that product exists, or they may be aware that the product exists, but they're looking at your competitors, perhaps. So that's why Facebook ads is so different. Now, bear in mind that Facebook ads is very powerful because it allows you to target people, not only males and females, ages, and different interests. And in order for somebody to get into a specific interest, they will have to have visited certain pages related to that interest. So keep in mind, Facebook is very different than Google Ads. So now that you understand kind of how things are run and that you're not going to get results right away on Facebook, depending on what you sell. That in mind, you need to have an idea of what you are selling. So when it comes to local versus online, and what I mean by that is if you are, let's say, a plumber and you're trying to get leads to your plumbing company or your accounting company or your massage therapy company, if you're local, it's a lot easier because all you have to do is simply target a specific radius, zip code, and go at it. You don't really need to do a ton of market research and all that. Now, you do need to kind of get an idea of who you're targeting, but it's a lot easier than online. Now, what do I mean by online? Because we're online now. What I mean by online is you are targeting nationwide. So let's say, for example, that you're targeting a specific niche, like scuba diving. All right, so you're going to be competing with all the hundreds or even thousands of other people out there who are making ads on that niche. Versus with local, you might be only competing with one or two or possibly even no one else, right? So that's why before you can get into Facebook ads, you have to have an idea of what your strategy is, what you're promoting, and all of that. Okay, so this is where the mindset comes in, is when you run Facebook ads, a lot of people think that, okay, if I invest $1, I'm going to get $1 back. And you'll see a lot of Facebook ad courses advertise that. But what you don't realize is that there's a lot of testing involved before you can get to that point. All right, especially if you're doing nationwide. If you're doing local, you got it easy and you could do everything demographic research, go straight to setting up a ad campaign and target radius. It's just that easy. But for the majority of you who are probably advertising a niche or a specific area, you're going to be doing nationwide. So you could be targeting USA, you could be targeting United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, or a specific country worldwide or in a different area. And if you are doing that, you're going to have a lot of competition. All right. So a lot of people think, okay, they run an ad, they invest $100 or even $500 and they get nothing back. So if you're doing nationwide and you get to that point, then a lot of people become frustrated and they quit. So that's why I really want to dial down into the mindset of paid traffic, that you need to buy data first. So you might have heard this before, but basically, if you run an ad or several ads, then what you're really trying to do first is to buy data. What that means is you have to be willing to put $500, $1,000, or even a couple grand to buy data. And buy data means that Facebook is so big that they have so many different interests, they have so many different types of people that you need to figure out where your customers are located within Facebook. And to do that, you have to run a couple campaigns first and foremost, look at the data, see what's actually working, see who is clicking your ads. And what's nice about Facebook is they give you a really good breakdown. So you can see who's clicking your ads, what age group, the text that you're using. Let's say you're using 3 different texts and 3 different images. You can test and see which images, which text, which headline, which description, and which sales copy is getting the most clicks. So based on that data, you can then create another ad and then go out. So that's why it's very simple, but very important, because if you don't have this mindset switch, then you'll be like everybody else. You invest $500 or even $1,000. You don't get anything, you don't get any results, and you quit. And you wonder why other people are out there running ads like your competitors and getting leads. So that's simple. I'm going to leave it like that. And with that said, let's move on to the next video. Hello and welcome to video number 3. This is all about who are you targeting. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they set up an ad assuming that it's going to convert, and it doesn't. Or maybe it converts a little bit, but then it crashes, it doesn't convert at all. And people begin to wonder, okay, is it the product? Is it the traffic source? What is it? The reality is with paid traffic, it's a very different animal, meaning you really need to know who you're targeting and pretty much everything about them. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So one of the easiest ways to kind of develop who you're targeting is to look at your past sales. and try to develop what that person may look like. So if you have past emails, you have maybe a Facebook group or a community, take a look in there and try to kind of see a pattern. Now, if you don't have any past sales, then you're going to need to get an idea of this. You can create it, the demographic data, and obviously you can start testing, but you're not going to know 100%. All this is doing is simply giving you a first step. All right, so this is not set in stone. This is not going to be forever. So past sales is one thing. Another thing is to start developing and figuring out their demographics. And what I mean by that is, are they male? Are they female? What kind of age group are they? Are they young? Are they 18? Are they 20, 30, 40, 50? Or are they 65 plus? And beyond that, demographics wise, start to kind of paint a picture of who you are targeting. What do they like? What do they dislike? What does their lifestyle look like when they wake up? What do they do? What do they have a family? Do they have a wife? Do they have a husband? Do they have a spouse? Do they have a loved one? Do they have kids? Do they have kids that have gotten out of the house? When do they normally wake up? Do they have a day job? Are they retired? So you need to start creating this picture. So what sites do they visit? Do they wake up? Do they watch TV? What kind of television shows do they like? What kind of places do they go to? What kind of cars do they drive? What are things that they like to do? What is their occupation, like I said? Now, we're going to be able to use the Facebook Audience Insights tool in the next video, and this will give you better data and better information, but it's a lot better to brainstorm a little bit, kind of get an idea of what you're looking for before you use the Audience Insights tool. Because by doing this, this will allow your mind to open up and you'll start seeing things. So lifestyle, culture, location. One thing and one big mistake that a lot of people make is when they start running ads is that they focus on a specific person, but they don't think about what that person is thinking. So if you're targeting a specific location, then you need to start thinking about culture. You need to start thinking about what they're thinking and all of that. You may not have 100%, but by imagining and by kind of getting the data of what their lifestyle looks like and all of that, you will better speak to that person. In other words, you'll be able to speak to that person. That person will feel like, wow, you're speaking directly to me, and your conversions will get better. So based on all this information, what you want to do is kind of get an idea, and then the process is you begin to run ads based on this information, and then based on the ads and the Facebook and what the data that they give you, you buy data, and the data tells you exactly what that person looks like. And that's something that you can't really do with search engine optimization or other types of traffic. And that's the beauty of Facebook ads. So once you figure out exactly who is clicking on your ads and what kind of interest that they are targeted in or grouped by, it'll make your life a lot easier. So now let's take all this information and in practical terms, let me show you the Facebook Audience Insights tool and how to use it to get the right data. Hello and welcome to video number 4. We're going to talk about Facebook Audience Insights. This is basically a free tool that is available to anyone who has a Facebook account. And this is a very valuable tool because what Facebook is doing is it's giving you direct access to a lot of its data, which is very, very important. And it enables you to figure out a lot more about who you're targeting. So to give you some practical examples, let's head on over to the tool and show you all of it in action. Okay, so to get to Facebook Audience Insights, you'll need to go to business.facebook.com. You'll need to log in to your personal Facebook profile, and you'll need to set that up if you haven't. And after that, you'll need to click on the top, go to Audience Insights, and here we are. So what this allows you to do is, like I said, it allows you to enter a location, an age and gender, specific interests. And if you have a page, and let's say, for example, the page is highly populated or at least has a couple thousand people, you'll be able to figure out who exactly is inside that Facebook page in terms of demographics. Now, if you don't have a page, no big deal. I'm going to show you how to use a tool so that you can find the right information about the person that you're trying to target. Okay, so up at the top, we have location. I'm going to keep it at United States, but if you click this X here, you can actually change it to something else like Australia, like that. But in this case, we're going to do United States. And the next thing you can do is age and gender. So if you're targeting a niche, let's say that is mainly women, then you're going to want to click women here. But if it's mainly men, you want to click men here. And of course, if you're trying to target everybody, then it can be all, male and female. And if it's a specific age group, you can select the minimum age group. So let's say that we want to target anybody from 30 and up. So 30 and up. So this can be any. We can change this to 30 to 65 plus. And then, of course, we have interest. Now, what I like to do is I usually like to start with the smallest amount. So 18 to any and all. Because what I want to do is not assume that I know who the demographic is, unless I have had previous sales and a lot of the sales were just male, or a lot of the sales were just female. So bear in mind your niche, you know your niche better. So what I like to start out with is interest. So to kind of stick with what we were talking about earlier, if we type in scuba and we have scuba diving here, we see that this is an interest, and up at the top we have 4 million to about 4.5 million people who are interested in scuba diving in the United States, and that are all ages and all genders. Now, this is really interesting about Facebook. In order for them to be put into a specific interest, they have to have gone to websites that are related to scuba diving. So you can get more specific if you enter that in here. Now, if we take a look at demographics, you can see that about 56% are men and 44% are women. So we see that the majority appears to be about 25 up. So it's low here, it increases here, and then it decreases down here. So we can kind of gauge that the large amount of people in this interest are 25 to 34 or 25 to 44. Now, bear in mind that doesn't necessarily mean that they are buyers yet, but this helps you paint the picture. Now, if we scroll down a bit, we can see that the majority of these people that are interested in scuba diving are married, and they have at least a college education level. So this is a well-educated group. We can see that the job title, now if I scroll to the right here, this is important because it tells you which one of these are increasing rapidly. Now we can see that production has the most. So it has 21%, and then it's got transport and moving 13%. So what this means is the people who are interested in scuba diving that are in this specific interest have this particular job title. Now, if we scroll up, we can click on page likes, And this is actually very interesting because this allows you to see which pages they like. So for example, we have Jenny Springs, the specific clothing brand they're interested in, Salt Life and Grunt Style, clothing store. We can see outdoors and sporting goods company, Bass Pro Shops they're interested in. They're interested in a lot of outdoors type shops, websites, musicians they're interested in, TV shows that they like, so Duck Dynasty. So imagine being able to target, let's say, males from ages 25 and up, or maybe 25 to 45, who like Duck Dynasty and scuba diving. So you can create these conditional targets and target people specifically. So we go through, we see page likes, we can go visit the pages and take a look at what they like and get an idea of how they're interacting with the page, what content are they viewing, and all that. Now, if we scroll back to the top, we click on location. This allows us to see the top cities. So we can see Tampa, Florida, Honolulu, Hawaii. So a lot of Florida and Hawaii here, which kind of makes sense because Hawaii and Florida both have a lot of beaches, a lot of places to scuba dive. And then we have top countries, top languages. So we got English. So bear in mind that because we are targeting the United States, that it's really only showing cities, countries, and languages within the United States. Now, if I were to make this worldwide, this would broaden our spectrum. So if you click on activity, we can get a better view of how people are interacting with this niche, what kind of devices they're using. They're using mainly mobile devices, iPhones, and Androids. So we can see that a lot of them are not at desktop, which kind of gives us an idea that because these are outdoorsy people, they're most likely not going to be surfing on the inside or in their house, basically. So now let's take all this information and let's create an avatar in the next video.